Hey guys, so we're going to go ahead and begin coding it. So to begin, we're going to start by clicking on the yellow events tab and using when green flag is clicked. We're going to go into looks and add a hide. Next, we're going to go onto the yellow events tab and use a when I receive start. We're going to go onto looks and then add a show. I'm going to go onto my variable and add 3 set blocks. The first one we're changing to boost, and we're changing the 0 to 100. The second one we're changing to health, which we're going to match to our previous health, so for me that was 100. And the last one is clone, which we're going to set to no. So next what we're going to go ahead and do is, underneath this, we're going to go inside the blue motions tab. And we're going to go ahead and add a go to X and Y. The X is going to be 166, and the Y is going to be 60. Under that, we're going to go into control and add a delete this clone. Right, so now we're going to figure out how we're going to boost and how that's going to affect our speed. So we're going to add a when I receive start. We're going to go ahead and add a forever and then an if then else. Inside of the diamond shape, we're going to go into operators and use the greater than symbol. The empty bubble is going to be the speed variable bubble, and the 50 we're changing to a 4. Inside of the first bracket of the if, we're going to add a change boost by negative 0.8. And then on the else, we're going to do something similar. So I'm just going to duplicate this and add it onto the else. But instead, we're going to change this to 0.4. Okay. Under this, we're going to go onto the purple looks and add a go to front layer. Right, so we're going to make sure that we max out the boost. So we're underneath this, we're going to add a when I receive start again. We're going to add a forever and then an if then inside of the forever. Inside of the diamond shape, we're going to go into operators and use the greater than. The empty bubble is going to be our boost bubble, and the 50 is going to be 100. Inside of the if then, we're going to add a set boost to 100. This is to make sure that it doesn't go over the 100, because the problem is if they're boosting too fast, it might make the game too easy. If you're perfectly happy with this, then you might not even need this code. The other thing too is when you boost, it makes it incredibly hard for you to actually maneuver and move around, and it might actually accidentally kill you instead. So you might want to go ahead and play around with this and test this out and see how it works for you. We're going to go ahead and now move on. We're going to add a when I receive start. We're going to go on to looks and add a go to front layer. And then we're going to add a switch costume to outside. We're going to go on to control and add a wait 1 second. Then a create clone of myself. And lastly, I'm going to add a forever, and inside of that forever, we're going to go into looks and add a go backward 1 layer. Okay, so now we want to be able to change the look of the boost just like we did with our health. So we're going to go onto the yellow events tab and we're going to add a when I receive boost. We're going to go onto looks and add a go to front layer. We're going to go onto control and we're going to add an if then. Inside of the diamond shape, we're going to go onto operators and add the equal sign. The empty bubble, we're going to go into variable and add the clone bubble. and the 50 we're going to change to a num. Inside of the if then, we're going to go on to looks, and we're going to add a switch costume to outside. We're then going to add a set brightness to 100. And then underneath this, we're going to go on to control and add a repeat 25. And then back into looks, we're going to add a change inside the repeat. And we're changing the brightness effect by -4. Then at the very bottom of the repeat, we're going to add a clear graphic effects. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and work on the last block of code, which we're going to start by going on to control and adding a when I start as a clone. I'm going to go on to looks and add a go to front layer. I'm going to go into variable and I'm going to set my clone to yes. Next, I'm going to go inside of my blue motions tab and add a go to x 166, y 60. I'm going to go on to control and add a forever underneath. And then I'm going into looks and adding a switch costume to inside. Once you have that, we want to make sure that we change our size based off of our boost like we did with our health, but it was the opposite. We're going to add a set size to 100%, which that 100, we're going to go on to our variable and add our boost bubble to it. Underneath that, we're going to go back into looks and add a go to front layer. Then the last piece that we're going to go ahead and add is underneath this, we're going to go on to control and add an if then. Inside the diamond shape, we're going to go into operators and use the greater than. Empty bubble is going to be a 1, and the 50 is going to be the boost variable bubble, which we already have here. So I'm just going to duplicate and add it in. And then inside of this, we're going to go into variable and add a set boost to 1. And with that, we've completed everything that we need for our game. So go ahead and move on to week 5 deep dive after you guys are done coding.